Hi, welcome to the Purls and Polish Podcast. My name is Rachel, and I'm coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. This is our August episode, so we're going over all the things that happened in July. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram, and there are links to those pages in the description down below on my website. So, July. July was a busy month in that we were just doing a lot of things, enjoying the last bits of our summer. So not a whole lot of knitting got done, but that's okay. It was a good reminder that a lot of my goals are self-imposed, which means I can choose not to meet them. So as far as what I've been working on for the month, it's going to be a shorter episode, but that's okay because we do what we can when we can. So starting off with my July socks from shop La Messere's Year of Socks. So the dyer is Lisa from Hickory Lane, and she's a good friend of mine. So I was very excited to do her socks. If you watched last episode, you'll notice that I had started the summerly socks called Mermaid Boulevard, and that is not the sock pattern I ended up doing. I was working on them. I really loved the pattern. I loved how quickly they were working up. But I was having some issues when it came to the heel flap. I like to knit my socks on magic loop, so on one long needle. And I was just not getting the pattern to look really nice while I was working on my heel flap. So I decided to take it apart, which is always a hard decision to make. But in this case, I feel like it was the right one. However, it was the 15th of July, so I didn't have a lot of time to finish my socks. And again, that goal is self-imposed. Nothing bad happens if I don't meet that goal, but I needed something fast. So I decided to do some shorty socks. So another summerly pattern, and I believe it's her Basic Bee shorties. It's in her shorties collection. Anyways, I've done this pattern before. The first time I knit a sample for Lisa was this pattern, so it just felt right to use this pattern with this yarn. So got those done. Really enjoy how they came out. And I got them done like 2 days before the end of July, so that was nice. So August socks came in, and I can't wait to show you those ones. Okay, so of course they're in my Woodsy and Wild Bag. This bag has become the catch-all for my summer sock camp. Let me find my tag. Okay, so the dyer is named Olivia and Oliver Fibers, and her name is Tam, and she is in the Netherlands. So probably the farthest area that my yarn has come from has been the Netherlands. So she did a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's a big skein and a little skein. So the big skein is called Beach Pebbles, and the little skein is called Clay. And this is a beautiful colorway. So this is Beach Pebbles, and this is pulling up a little darker than what it actually looks like. It's actually a lighter blue, and it's got these beautiful dark blue, orange, kind of purpley speckles. So it gives it a little bit of contrast, but not a ton to kind of overwhelm it. And then the mini skein is this one. It's called Clay. And this is pulling up a little more orange. It's a little more like a clay red. But anyways, I love these two together. I love these colors so much that I finished my first sock. I just cast off right before I started recording. Today is only the 6th, so it's been going by really fast. So I follow S Knits on Instagram. She is the designer behind the Alley sweater, the Alley socks, the Alley tee, and she just came out with a 7 days of socks. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, she gives out 7 patterns named after each day of the week. So this is the Monday socks pattern, and it's a toe up. So you start down here at the toe and you work your way up to the cuff. And it has I don't know how well it's gonna pull up here, but it has a gusset. So this little triangle right here is the gusset. So it gives you a little more room in the heel and the instep. And then this is a short row heel. So not what I typically do in my socks. I have a very long, narrow foot with a high arch. So I found that heel flap socks work best for me. But I really love how a short row heel looks. I love how I'm making it. This one in particular is called the Fish Lips Kiss heel. It's a design by Patty Joy White. Yeah, and she is the sock therapist on Instagram. She's a lovely lady, super helpful if you have any questions as far as how to use her pattern. So just lovely. Anyways, so when Sarah FS Knits came out with this pattern, I was super excited, just because I haven't done a toe up sock in a long time. I was excited to have a gusset, to be able to use a short row heel, mostly for the fact that I am thinking ahead for Christmas Advent socks. So I usually get a skein of yarn that has 24 different stripes on it, one for each day of December, counting down to Christmas. So that works really well with a toe up sock because you don't have to guess when to stop. You knit your foot, you knit your heel, and then you can just keep going until you're done with the leg. So I'm hoping that this will fit well. I haven't tried it on yet, so that I can use this pattern for Christmas. But anyways, this was lovely. I'm so excited. The first sock is done. I'll probably cast on the second sock tonight and get those done quickly. All right, so let's talk about my Make 8 sweaters. So far I have 3 done. The first one has not been finished. I still keep going back and forth on that one. Right now I'm thinking about just taking it completely apart and doing a different pattern with it. The yarn is a little too thick for the pattern that I wanted to do with it. So jury's still on that one, but I still want to do that pattern. So I'll figure that out. But anyways, the deadline for my, I think it's pronounced Zwig, Z-W-I-E-G, Zwig. Anyways, that sweater, the deadline came and went. I didn't meet my deadline, mostly because I've spent a lot of my time knitting socks, and that was a choice. It's a choice I stand behind still. So it was just one of those, you know what, I prioritize socks and I prioritize spending time with my family, and that was time well spent. So let's, not that bag, this bag. I will show you my progress on it. Once summer sock camp is over, I'll be able to focus on my sweaters, and then I'll think I'll be back on track. But really, like, who's counting? There's no prize if I don't finish 8 sweaters this year. That's just what I wanted to do. But anyways, I have a good amount done. So all the lace is done. The little bit of color work right by the arm is done. So now I'm just working on the body. So I did a fit check and it fits well. Once I block it, it'll kind of spread out a little more, so it'll be a little looser fit. But I'm really liking how it's working out. So now it's just this stockinette bit that just needs to get done. So it'll get done at some point after summer sock camp. And then I probably shouldn't have, but I did. I cast on my next sweater on the day I was supposed to cast it on. I don't know why I did, but I did. So this is the, I don't remember what it's called. Oh, the Riley tee. It's called the Riley tee. It's by the designer's name is Rachel, and I am doing a lot of firsts on this one. So let me talk about the yarn first. This is pulling up a lot more blue. It's actually a little more green. But the yarn I'm using is from Woolbery, which you guys know, I love Woolbery. And it's on their Berry DK. So it's 100% superwash merino, 231 yards, 100 grams, and the color is 20,000. And it was in celebration of, I believe, their 20,000th skein. This was from like last year. Or it was inspired by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Something to do with water. They do they support building wells all over the world. But anyways, I bought like 6 of these skeins, wanting to make a sweater, and then I couldn't decide on the sweater, and the one I chose I didn't like. So these have just kind of been sitting. So when I saw that the Knitting PT had done the Riley sweater, Riley tee, I really liked it. So I thought this would be a perfect kind of looser t-shirt type garment with this color would be really nice. So first thing that is new to me is a saddle shoulder. So I don't know if you guys have ever done this. If you have, tell me in the comments. If you have not, tell me in the comments. But you knit this like tab, so this section right here, and you knit one for each shoulder, and then you start this is the back. So I'm working on the back, and then after a bit, I'll stop and I'll pick up the stitches for the front panel. So I'll do one like front shoulder and then the second front shoulder, and then I'll kind of connect them for the neck, knit the front panel, and then I'll join them in a circle and work the rest of the top down. So this is completely new to me. I've never done something like this. Usually I do raglan sweaters where you kind of from the shoulder, you spread out to create like your shoulder cap here. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Yeah, so this, I'm almost done with the back panel, but I don't think I'm gonna meet the deadline I set for the sweater either, and that's okay. I'm just gonna let that go, because again, I chose to knit socks, and there's nothing wrong with that, so. But I wanted to show you that and show you the yarn and show you how pretty it was and how it's working out. All right, in other news, California State Fair is over, and I had 2 entries into the State Fair. No, that's a lie. I entered 4 things into the State Fair. 2 were accepted for show, 2 were not, and I got to see them displayed at the fair, and then I also got to pick up my stuff today. So one thing that was nice was I got notes on all of my entries. So it was nice to see kind of why things, the 2 sweaters that I submitted were rejected. You could probably hear my kids. I'm so sorry. But I had things rejected because I had twisted stitches. It was one of those like, they're that picky. Or I had dog hair on my sweater on the inside, and it got disqualified for that. So things to note for next year. But I got my socks back, and they each got a ribbon. So I will show them to you. These are my High Desert socks. You guys know I love High Desert socks. So this was using Woolbery, again, love Woolbery. The Woolbery's yarn, so it was this, I think this one's called Lake Tahoe. So this and the green, I think it was the green. They all came together as a set, and then I added the yellow. So these are actually my sister's Christmas socks, and these got a 4th place ribbon. Ooh. Look at that, 4th place. So that was exciting. And then I had my socks from Playful Day Yarn. These were part of my year of socks, and I submitted these as well. And these won a 3rd place ribbon. So there we go. So I won 3rd and 4th place for hand knit accessories. So I'm very excited about that. One thing about me, and this is definitely like a fatal flaw, I'm incredibly competitive. So when I saw that I got third and fourth place, that's nothing to sniff at. I'm very proud that I did so well, but at the same time, it's like, now I want to see who got first and second place because I don't like to lose. So it was a lot of mixed emotions, but I'm very proud of how those did. This is my first time entering hand knits. The last couple years I had entered in for my hand spun yarn, but I haven't been able to spin a lot lately since my kids are older. They want to touch all the things, and I have shorter bursts of time to like craft. So knitting is a lot easier since I can very easily pick it up and put it down. Whereas like spinning, there's this whole setup, and then yeah, it just takes way too much time. So hopefully one day I'll be able to start spinning again, but right now I'll knit and I'll keep submitting. So if your state has a state fair or your county has a fair and they have entries for knitting or whatever craft that is you do, enter your state fair. The most they can say is no, and the most they could say is yes, and you get your stuff displayed and you get these little cool ribbons. We were able to get tickets into the fair, which is not something we normally do, but we got free tickets, so we got to go and enjoy the fair. So this is my plug. Keep an eye out for your fairs and enter them because you could win something. All right, those are all the things that I have to show you. The last thing that I've started is a kind of like a sticker chart. So we live in a multi-generational household, so it's 4 generations. It's us and our children and my husband's parents and his grandmother. So there are a lot of people here, which means there isn't a lot of storage space. So my yarn stash is small compared to a lot of other stashes, because I literally don't have the space to store things. So I'm getting to a point where I literally have no more room to put yarn. So for the rest of the year, I am not buying any yarn. And I say this every year, and I always start January with like, no more yarn. I'm gonna use what I have, and I'm no longer buying things. And then by like March, I fail and I buy all the things. So I saw this like sticker chart, and I got one, and this is what I'm using to track not buying yarn. So I got this from, I don't even remember. I'll put it down below. I was looking for a new planner, and this one came up. It is designed for people who have ADHD. I do not have ADHD, but I get distracted easily. So I thought maybe this would help, and they have lovely things, very well thought out. So even if you aren't someone who lives with ADHD, this might be something that you would really enjoy. So I have one of their planners already, and they have this kind of sticker chart. So they have a mild version, which is the one I got. They have kind of a semi-spicy version, and then they have a super spicy, don't take it to work version. So I got the mild version since my kids are starting to learn how to read, and I don't need them reading things that are not kid-friendly. But basically, you set up whatever your goal is, and there are kind of reward systems put into place. So you set up what your rewards are. So for my rewards, I am getting coffee at different coffee locations that I don't normally get coffee from. And then for my last reward is a new camera stand for my GoPro. I filmed with a GoPro 8 that I won at a raffle. But the stand I have is very small, so I would like to get a nicer, bigger one. So if I can get through December without buying anything, then I get a new stand. So I do well with incentives, and I do well with like short incentives and long incentives. So this is what I'm using. so far so good. It's been 3 weeks and I haven't bought anything. So I guess the question for this month is, how do you follow through with your goals like this? Do you have kind of like an incentive program for yourself, or do you are just really good with meeting goals, or do you struggle like I do? So if this is something that might help you, definitely check them out. They've got all sorts of things that help kind of keep track on goals and to meet goals and to organize your day. They're called Imperfect Inspirations. They've got a great Instagram page, but this is what I'm working on. So somehow I managed to time this perfectly where I track every Saturday. So if I hit Saturday and haven't bought anything, I get to scratch off a little sticker, and there's a little inspirational thing underneath it. So I'm marking all the Saturdays to the end of December. And then my plan for 2023, I know it's only August and we're already thinking about 2023, but my plan for 2023 is to not buy any yarn at all. The exception being my yarn advents, and those are going to be my rewards for not buying yarn. But like I said, I have a lot of yarn already that I need to work through. Personally, I don't like hoarding things, or I don't like holding on to things that I don't use, especially since I have very limited space. So if I can't use it, then I need to find a new home for it. So there are lots of different yarns and dyers and patterns that I want to use or bought specifically for certain patterns that I need to use. So that's what we're gonna do. So anyways, shorter episode this month. That's okay. School is starting up. I just got a new part-time job, so I don't know what that's going to mean for my knitting time, but we adjust with what life gives us. So have a great August. If you're starting school this month, or you have kids starting school this month, have a great school year, have a safe school year, and I will see you guys in September.